Well, we have yet another embassy under attack. The attack is underway now in Yemen. These have nothing to do with the little film that came out. The film is an excuse. The film is a red herring. The film is what the media is going to concentrate on. The little film that is not even a film. It's like a 12-year-old made this video. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it has been out for a long time. It has nothing to do with the film. The film is an excuse to use as a red herring for all of the Muslim extremist apologists. And that is exactly what we have in the media. Pay no attention to the film. Even if it were the film. If the Mormons would have come and taken Broadway and started slaughtering people in the movie or in the Broadway houses, and they said, "Well, but you were making fun of Joseph Smith in your play, The Book of Mormon," would anyone in the media say, "Well, he do have a good point. That was kind of a controversial thing. I mean, they did take offense to it." No. It would be insane if the Mormons would do it. It would be just as insane if the Catholics. I mean, let's put it this way: Catholics say, can we just stop with the mob and Don Corleone, and the whole tying to the Catholic Church? That's not it. Now, can you imagine if the Catholics, to prove that the mob was not Catholic, can you imagine if the cardinals started going out and stuffing people into their trunks, shooting them and dumping them in landfills and trying to make the point, see, these guys are all saying, they're all saying that we're part of the mob, and that's why we had to shoot them, put them in tarp and roll them in a carpet, put them in the back of our trunk, and throw them in a landfill. Everyone would say, guys, you're kind of proving the point. But do you notice that the media doesn't catch that? The media is so busy covering for Barack Obama. They are right now saying that Mitt Romney has bad judgment. He has bad judgment. First of all, this is how the president said it. Do you have the aim, shoot first and aim later? Listen to this. It's pretty incredible.
Which are you talking about?
Romney likes to shoot first and aim later.
Oh, I'll have to find that.
Okay. You don't have to worry about it. It's an incredible statement.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, can we just point out that they were shot? The people that Romney was talking about was shot. And nobody says that the president comes out and uses that as an analogy? Really? Well, that seems a little insensitive. Now we have the president coming out and saying he spoke hastily. Did he now, Mr. President? We were kind of waiting for you, but I know, according to the Washington Times, that the president went to bed. The president didn't know what happened to the ambassador. He didn't know that we have 2 embassies being taken, and he had no idea what was going on. He hadn't been to his security briefing in a week, according to the White House records. And then he doesn't know what's going on. And he gets, an update, I'm sure, throughout the day. And they're like, Mr. President, we still don't know where the ambassador is. We still, I'm going to go to bed. He goes to bed. He doesn't get a briefing until he wakes up the next morning. Who's going to answer the phone at 3 a.m.? Not Barack Obama. He unplugs it. My gosh. And he has bad judgment. Play the Telemundo piece. This is from an interview on Telemundo when they're asking about Egypt. Is Egypt a friend or a foe? Are they an ally? Are they a friend? Are they an enemy, Mr. President? Which is Egypt? Now, how does the President of the United States, a guy who went and said the Arab Spring is great and it's going to be good for the people there and it's going to be good for us and it's not going to affect Israel and it's not going to affect the United States of America, we're sending $1 billion over to help these people? What do you think the answer is to that question? Here it is.
The current Egyptian regime an ally of the United States?
I don't think that we would consider them an ally, but we don't consider them an enemy. They are a new government that is trying to find its way. They were democratically elected. I think that we are going to have to see how they respond to this incident, how they respond to, for example, maintaining the peace treaty with Israel. So far, at least, what we've seen is that in some cases they've said the right things and taken the right steps. In others, how they've responded to various events may not be aligned with our interests.
Okay, so when you say it's not necessarily aligned with our interest, you mean when they didn't apologize, when they didn't say we're sorry for your embassy, when they didn't take a strong stand, instead they came out and said, hey, everybody should get together for peaceful gatherings after the mosque session on Friday? You mean that might not have been exactly aligned with our interests? And by the way, Mr. President, it is your judgment. It is your judgment and the judgment of the people that you surround yourself and everybody in the media that this Arab Spring, Thomas Jefferson was just going to sprout out. Oh, my gosh, look, we're just growing at John Adams. Look at that. Oh, who knew? Who saw that one coming? Look, oh, my gosh, it's Thomas Paine just sprouted out. Really? That was the judgment that you had. You guessed wrong, sir. And you know what's amazing? You weren't guessing. You had the greatest advisors, all of the greatest intel people in the United States of America and all over the globe telling you, and you took their advice. This is going to be great. This is going to be really, really good. I just want to remind you, Mr. President, that when you got into office, Egypt was an ally. They weren't a good guy. We don't really like them. But they were an ally. They kept the peace in the region. It was your brainstorm to destabilize and support the destabilization. So don't talk to me about Mitt Romney's judgment of coming out a few minutes early and saying, you're a nincompoop. Don't talk to me about how bad his judgment is. I don't think anybody should be listening to you saying about bad judgment. By the way, you notice that the president swoops into action whenever it is in the interest of the Muslim Brotherhood. He is there on the ground. He couldn't help Iran. The people of Iran, the Green Movement, he couldn't. He was I don't know, he had maybe another David Letterman. He couldn't make it. Our ally in Israel right now is on fire. They're surrounded in a part of the world that everything is about to collapse all around them. And he can't make time to meet with them because he's got David Letterman. You notice how slow he moves unless the Muslim Brotherhood is involved. If the Muslim Brotherhood is involved, they are there. If the United States, if a policeman is involved, he is there to stand up against that policeman. If he is there, if it's Tea Party, no, he doesn't. I don't have time to meet. I'm not even paying attention to them. If it's Occupy Wall Street, he is there day one. These are good people. And I think I support their freedom of speech. When Libya started to come apart, he was there day one. When Egypt started to come apart, he was there day one. I'm there. We're supporting them. This is democracy. This is fantastic. But you notice whenever it goes against our interests, whenever it is for actual freedom, when it is for people who are oppressed, what does he do? He stands back. He waits. I got to take a nap. I got to play golf. I got to do a David Letterman interview. Help me out, Mr. President. Help me out. Your action is unbelievable. We have the 6th ambassador, and there's only been 6 in all of the United States history that have been killed. You got one of them. How many are you going for, Mr. President? How many ambassadors are going to have to die? How many people in our embassy are going to have to die? You assigned that man, and you went to bed? Whoa. A lot of compassion there, Mr. President. I see you really worry about things. Yeah, that's right. Unplug the phone. Maybe Hillary can take the call. Maybe Joe Biden. He can send some union thugs over to take care of things. We now have 3 embassies. 3. Where do you think it stops? The United States of America did not defend its sovereign soil. They killed an ambassador and 2 Marines, and they didn't defend their sovereign soil. The first thing they do is apologize to the Muslim extremists. And he waits. And he waits. And he waits. And Mitt Romney gets up and says, what are we waiting for? Benjamin Netanyahu says, what are we waiting for? Somebody's got to say something. This is wrong. And the reason anybody with a brain, they could have seen this coming. They could have seen this coming. But their judgment is so off that they thought this would turn into a good thing for the United States of America. So the 2 places that he went into, Libya, the ambassador that he sent to work with the rebels, killed in the streets. Now, let me ask you this. When it comes to killing an ambassador in the streets, you would think if the ambassador was where he was supposed to be, where the spontaneous crowd would expect him, well, that's one thing. If he was coming out of the embassy, where he always is, you think, okay, well, they expect him. But that's not the way it is. That's not what happened. He wasn't where he usually is. He was someplace else. It's almost like this spontaneous crowd had some intel. How do you gun down the ambassador? How do you kill his security team? Where did you just spontaneously get that RPG? Where'd you get that? Guys, did you put it in the glove box? Because hey, isn't that the ambassador over there? Get your RPG. Where'd they get the intel? Is anybody looking into Iran? Is anybody looking into who is advising? Isn't it weird that it just spontaneously happened on 9/11? And now the next one in Yemen. This is exactly what we said would happen. Warning. There's a couple of things here that you need to be aware of. One, I believe this is now the phase, and I hope I'm wrong, but this now may be the phase where we have the final destabilization of the entire Middle East. Remember, I said they would destabilize these areas, and then they would start linking together, which they already have, Iran and Egypt. It is confirmed now through U.S. intelligence that they are sharing information and they are working together. Do not dismiss that this was a coordinated attack through Iran. U.S. intel yesterday announced that they're meeting. Okay, good. So we got that. So I said that they would then link for a united Muslim state. They destabilize the entire Middle East, including Israel. They would go after Israel. Their goal would to be destabilize the entire West. We're in that phase right now, where they are going to go try to destabilize the entire Middle East. The next phase is they are going to destabilize Europe. Europe is in real trouble. Europe is on the brink of disaster. And then it would be the entire West. We're going to be the last piece. But we will be destabilized as well. Tonight at 5 o'clock on Dish and on Blaze TV online, you will be able to see I'm going to bring back some of the stuff that we talked about 18 months ago. And I showed you the pattern of George Soros. The pattern of George Soros is destabilize things, weaken it so horribly, and then destabilize right before and after an election and shut it down. That's why I was so surprised when Occupy Wall Street fell apart. Where's the destabilization that always comes with a George Soros coup? I believe we may be seeing it now. Be careful of calling for war. Be careful of what you ask for, because you just might get it. I'm terribly afraid we are being massively set up. Warning. May I make one more recommendation? Have cash on hand, please. Please have cash on hand. We have recommended this for a while. Please have cash on hand. I just saw an amazing stat. Right now, 8.2 or 8.7% of the American population has pulled their money out of banks. They say, I'll cash my check at check cashing places. I will keep my own cash. I'm closing my checking and savings. Almost 10% of the U.S. population is now bankless because they don't trust the banks. That's significant, especially when you see what's going to happen with Bernanke today. Hopefully Bernanke says he's not going to print more money, but the dollar is already losing value this morning. Warning.